Okay, so a paper came across my desk and I wanted to share that. And then there were some articles based off of it. So this paper, May 19th, it looks like there was also maybe an earlier publication of some of these findings, like in January of this year that I saw, but I'm going to pull from this one. And it's titled "The Agent Company Benchmarking LLM Agents on Consequential Real-World Tasks," because that's what we're interested in when we think about, like, what's the possibility of AI to do meaningful economic work, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to read just a little bit of the abstract, which is always a wall of text on these.
Yeah. I've looked at so many of these since we started this show that I'm like starting to develop a more effective skimming strategy.
Yeah, that's the thing, is they don't know how to make effective use of paragraphs, just for those of us that don't want to like dive straight in.
Yeah, I have to remember it's not for a general audience. Otherwise, I'm like, man, they don't know how to write.
Exactly. All right. It says, we interact with computers on an everyday basis, be it in everyday life or work, and many aspects of work can be done entirely with access to computer and the internet. At the same time, thanks to the improvement in large language models, LLMs, there has also been a rapid development in AI agents that interact with and affect change in their surrounding environments. But how performant are AI agents at accelerating or even autonomously performing work-related tasks? The answer to this question has important implications for both industry looking to adopt AI into their workflows and for economic policy to understand the effects that adoption of AI may have on the labor market. So I'll say I complained about their use of paragraphs. They're actually using well-constructed sentences, though, that are not run on and last the entire paragraph.
That's true, but
that's good.
The first sentence uses the word everyday twice, and so...
Oh, yes.
There is that.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, screw those guys. I'm going to skip down to the end of this. And it says that we test baseline agents powered by both closed API-based and open weights large language models and find that the most competitive agent can complete 30% of tasks autonomously.
That feels right.
Actually, I mean, yeah, it feels right. It's not enough to run a company.
No.
This paints a nuanced picture on task automation with LLM agents. In a setting simulating a real workplace, a good portion of simpler tasks can be solved autonomously, but more difficult long horizon tasks are still beyond the reach of current systems. We release code, data, environment, and experiments on https://the-agent-company.com. And then they get into the intricacies of the paper, but I'm going to skip out of the paper for a second. Actually, I may show this graphic real quick for those that are watching.
I don't want to derail us. Very quick little question. I've never heard anyone call a / a whack before. Where did that come from, Perry?
I'm guessing old school coding.
Huh. I've never, ever encountered that, but I really like it.
Yeah. Yeah, whack is a /. A pipe is, well, you probably know what a pipe is.
The pipe one, yeah.
In coding, yeah. Yeah, so I think it's just old, like, Unix speak.
Is it
my guess?
The opposite is a / a back whack?
Maybe. That sounds right. I don't know. I think I've always just used for that for /.
I'm calling him that forever now, man. That's great.
I'm going to look that up.
Yeah.
I may have gotten it wrong. A whack or whack, a WHACK or whack, WACK, describes a / commonly used.
Interesting.
Maybe it's forward whack. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say whack whack still.
Yeah, I'm going to do it like too. I think it's way funnier. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
back to where I was. All right. So with this graphic, it's just basically showing the simulated people or agents that are there, the tools that they have access to, like GitLab and OwnCloud and Rocket Chat, the fact that they have access to terminals and can write code. And then you kind of have this other agent in the middle that's observing and orchestrating things and then piping those into other simulated roles, like an admin that can arrange meeting rooms, a DS agent that can analyze spreadsheets, prepare secure coding releases, HR that does like resume screening, project manager for team sprint planning, and finance to reimburse travel bills. I don't know why people would be traveling, but
yeah, why are the agents? Where are they going? Is it HTTPS bills? No, but so So it's kind of like having an abstract management layer of AI and an abstract employee layer of AI. Is that about right? Okay.
Yep. And then so they've got this little checkpoint based evaluation where like step one example would be access bills, and then check reimbursement criteria, and then consult with Mike, which is another agent. And then they show them starting to fail, right? Confirm reimbursement amount, and then so on. So, and a lot of these, like they were getting half right at that. Let me go ahead and get to one of these articles that covers this. But first, those that are watching, I'll share this tab. This is theagentcompany.com, where you can go and you can kind of see their stuff that they have on GitHub. You can see some of the demos that they've got recorded. A lot of good work being done documenting what's working well and what's not. And then you can also go through their quick start guide and actually see things in action for yourself. But I'm going to go to some of the articles that covered it, because Futurism had a great way of kind of setting this up. It says, professors staffed a fake company entirely with AI agents, and you'll never guess what happened. What do you guess happened?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and guess that it was 70% not efficient or non-functional.
Yeah, you saw the paper.
Yeah, that's true. So, but I would have said that anyway.
Heads up. Okay, good. And their lead-in paragraph is, if you've been worried about the AI singularity taking over every job and leaving you out on the street, you can now breathe a sigh of relief, because AI isn't coming for your career anytime soon. Not because it doesn't want to, but because it literally can't.
I mean, yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah, it's
somebody using AI can start to take little bits and bites out of your career, but AI itself, no.
Yeah, the fully agentic stuff just is not there yet. And honestly, I've been working with I've been doing experiments with running a local LLM, using it into VS Code as a coding assistant. And I would say from my own experience that it's only about 30% good at actually doing anything autonomously, but it's extremely good at helping explain things to me or add like JS doc annotations or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think a person going back and forth with AI can do some pretty incredible things.
Yeah.
Unsupervised AI just kind of running amok. It's not doing great work right now.
Yeah, it doesn't have the breadth and depth of context to really keep everything it needs to in its brain as it works. Yeah. As part of it.
And it can make stuff up. Like, include libraries in coding. And it's like, include the thing that helps me do this. That's not a real thing.
Mm-hmm. Or just making up function calls.
Now you're referring to it.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
So let me read a little bit more of this. A recent experiment by researchers at Carnegie Mellon University staffed a fake software company entirely with AI agents. And the results are laughably chaotic. The simulation, dubbed the Agent Company, was fully stocked with artificial workers from Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Meta. They filled roles such as financial analysts, software engineers, and project managers, working alongside simulated coworkers like faux HR department and a faux chief technology officer. The best performing model was Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which struggled to complete just 24% of the jobs that they assigned to that.
Oh, that was the best.
Studies authors note that even this meager performance was prohibitively expensive, averaging nearly 30 steps and cost about $6 per task. And then it goes down. Google Gemini 2 Flash, meanwhile, averaged a time-consuming 40 steps per finished task, but had an only 11.4% success rate.
Oh.
The worst was Amazon's Nova Pro V1, which finished 1.7% of its assignments at an average of almost 20 steps. So it's basically, when you leave it on its own, it's like working with the most incompetent person you've ever worked with, because it doesn't come back and ask for questions or additional guidance. It just kind of churns ineffectively, stupidly on the thing, and may not still produce accurate results.
Right.
So I encourage you to take a look at that article. There's also another one in it's Business Insider. AI isn't ready to do your job. They've got a pretty good breakdown as well. and then also one in Yahoo Tech. So choose your adventure on the articles for follow-up, but some good research there. And I think for a lot of folks that have been hoping that we get to the agentic future where everything is going to take over our tasks and we're able to make $1 billion company just with AI, we're not quite there yet. But when it comes to people who are really, really worried about AI taking their job and putting people that do really economically meaningful work out of business, that's not here in 2025.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like a broader problem with the way that a lot of people, companies are approaching AI is like, so everyone is so keen to see it as a source of final output or final, like anything, rather than a tool to use in the process of something. And it's like extremely good at being a tool in the process and really not ready to be the final product creator. So it's baffling to me that we aren't finding like actual practical use cases and instead like marketing based on these pie in the sky things. But I guess such is the world of like needing excitement and hype to get investment.
Well, I mean, there is one good thing, I guess, that's coming from like the vibe coding trend, which is these people that are vibe coding inherently understand that it's a back and forth that starts to provide the value. It's kind of working in a flow state almost with the tools and then offering correction and insight and guidance along the way. I think we will get to the point where an AI or a series of AI agents is producing a lot of meaningful work, but that's not there right now. And there's going to be a lot of failures before there's some really significant successes. Yeah. Those failures are probably going to be embarrassing and catastrophic.
And they should just not be in production. Like it's
right.
Yeah, it will get to that point. And honestly, my gut feeling is that once we get to a place where we can inflate context to just massive sizes, then that will help a lot. Because most of the time, what I have found when it falls apart in agentic tasks relating to coding is it will, if it gets confused, it just barrels down the path it's on, can convince itself that like its approach is right, and then just start making things up. Because it has like forgotten something that it set up earlier in a different file somewhere because it just can't hold it all in its brain.
Right. Yeah, I think we have to fix context window size and then also accuracy for pulling from the context window, because there's a lot of these that now have like 1 million, 2 million, 5 million token context window. And the needle in the haystack problem is still pretty much there. But you got to solve for that. You got to solve for hallucinations. And then you also have to solve for all the interface and integration issues across platforms. Because for an agent to do meaningful work, it has to touch another system, like a web browser or an API set. As we've talked about before, most of the world is built around a mouse and keyboard interface rather than an API interface. And so there's a lot of hurdles that have to be overcome in order to make accuracy something that we can rely on when it comes to a computer interfacing that way.
Using an interface designed for a human. Well, interestingly, Perry, our very next segment is about how that is expanding as Microsoft adds MCP, or Model Context Protocol, natively to Windows, which is Anthropic's standard for helping AI make use of tools on a local machine. But we're going to take a really quick break before we get into that. Stick around.
This is the FAIK Files.